Hello, it is November something or other, and you are listening to Just a Bit Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Chumpy Crash Reynolds, and here with me is your other host, Adrian Bertazoid Townsend, and we now exist in a place outside of time and space.
Nice.
Because we dropped the date off the episodes.
Oh, okay.
It was an attempt at being meta. I should have left it mysterious.
I was just thinking that it was like, we're so out there.
We're so out there that
yeah.
I should have been like, and we now exist in a place outside of space and time.
Yay. You're scaring me with that all.
It was cool. It was cool, right? Kind of sci-fi.
I've heard enough of it at this point that it's still cool.
Okay, it hasn't found its way.
He's before we got recording. He did like a whole 10-minute long musical piano session.
I just wanted you to have a special experience.
I enjoyed it.
I'm glad.
He had some Stranger Things tunes going on. It sounded cool. I like it.
Some strangest things.
That's right.
So,
what are we talking about
tonight? What are we going to talk about?
Star Wars Battlefront 2.
And then we're going to talk about
.hack Last Recode.
And then we're going to talk about
Skyforce Anniversary.
What do you want to talk about?
Before we get into those are the games that, the newer games that I've been playing with, and I want to hear about what you've been playing.
Oh, man. I decided, I made a conscious effort to go ahead and put down Breath of the Wild for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about my coughing and my stuffy nose.
You got a cold
That's
today?
part of the reason I've been gone for so many weeks is between work and then I got a sinus infection that then turned into full-blown bronchitis.
Oh.
And now I'm just
You didn't tell me about that.
Now I'm just yeah.
Oh, that sucks, man.
I'm a 6 foot tall, crusty booger. That's all I am.
I'm glad that you are able to show up and record another show.
Yeah, me too.
It's been 3 episodes now, so
yeah.
It's good to hear your voice again.
Which in our realm of no space-time,
yeah,
it's like millennia.
That's right.
So it's good to hear your voice again too.
Thank you.
I mean, we talked on the phone, but it's not the same. So yeah, I managed to put down Breath of the Wild, and got my hands on a 2DS, nice. Which is interesting. I had never messed with one before.
So how did you get a hold of this 2DS? I didn't know you were in the market to get one. So
well, I had been messing around with the idea of picking one up because I was looking for a Vita for a long time,
right?
Because I'm just kind of into this whole handheld gaming thing at the moment.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah.
And I was at my sister's house talking to her husband, my brother-in-law. What up, Donovan? And I was talking to him about the 2DS and my desire to mess with one and namely to play Ocarina of Time again. And he was like, well, I've got one. Do you want it? I was like, yeah, okay. He was like, here's all my games, and it's got a bunch of games already on it. And so I picked it up, and it has Monster Hunter 4, Mario Kart 7, Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Yeah. And
then 2 others, like Gold and Silver or something.
Wow, man. Installed on the device?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then like the original NES Mario Brothers. It's either 1 and 3 or 2 and 3. I can't remember. And then it's got Link's Awakening and A Link to the Past.
That's amazing.
All downloaded on the hard drive. And then as far as like the external games go, there's Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
And then another Zelda game that I guess was the direct sequel to Link to the Past.
That game is amazing.
I forgot what it's called.
It's called I got it right here. Keep going.
I made too many jokes about it being called A Link to the Future, and now that's what I think it's called.
A Link Between Worlds.
A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, that game is great.
Yeah. And then another Pokemon game and like 2 or 3 others.
Yeah. And
so, I mean, he kind of hooked it up.
Donovan straight hooked it up.
Yeah.
Why did he give you all that?
I don't know.
Is he getting out of it or something?
I don't know if I'm supposed to keep it. He was not clear. So I think it's kind of an open-ended borrow.
Okay. Even still. That's amazing, dude.
Because he was like, I haven't touched this in a couple of years. So.
Wow.
It's cool. It's a cool little system. I haven't played with it like a whole lot.
Right.
The issue I have is the size of the screen. Because I have a lazy eye. And so there's a lot of directional compensation I'm having to fuck with right now.
Is the 2DS, are the screens smaller than like the 3DS XL, or are you aware of how big the screen
Yeah,
is?
because it's the original 2DS where it doesn't fold.
Right. Yeah, okay. Those screens,
So they're small, man.
they are kind of small.
They're small. Like
Are you seeing double when you try to look at it?
a little bit. I have to play with one eye closed. Even if I have my glasses on.
So you couldn't do 3D, the 3DS anyway.
Oh, 3D is a little messy for me.
I could imagine.
Yeah. 3D, colors, seeing in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
VR was fun for a few minutes, but if I had played it for any longer, I would have gotten a headache, So,
yeah.
I mean, it's cool though. I'm having a good time with it. It's just the hardest part is trying to figure out how close to hold it to my stupid face.
Well, when you got a screen that small, yeah. I mean, I went back and tried to play like an old Game Boy Advance and stuff like that. And it is so
How did we
small.
do it?
No joke, dude. I remember as a kid though thinking, wow, this is tiny. But I still did it. And I got into a mode where like it seemed small at first, but once you got into it, the size didn't really matter anymore. Now it's like I go back and try to play that. It's like there's no way. I'd put it up, start playing for a little while and put it away. I'd rather just play those games emulated, or I've got like the Game Boy thing on the GameCube that you can play on your TV.
So
I'd
now,
much rather play it that way.
Now that you're older, and you're a sophisticated lady.
Yeah.
Size does matter going into it.
Size matters, man. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that way, but
you heard it here
matters.
first, kids. Size matters.
So, you've been playing then Ocarina of Time?
I've been playing Ocarina of Time. I started a file on Monster Hunter 4.
Yeah. I did too. I've got that game too. You contacted me last week, told me you got Monster Hunter. So knowing that that's an online multiplayer game, I went ahead and started it.
Yeah.
I didn't get very far into it. There's a lot of stuff that you got to learn. At the beginning.
And the problem was strictly sitting there in my dark living room at midnight trying to play it. The amount of detail on that tiny screen.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh my god,
dude, you're not kidding. Like, I got the same impression.
I couldn't handle it.
So I have the 3DS XL, which is a larger screen, but it was the amount of like colors going on in that game and textures and detail.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming.
It's like trying to walk through Hot Topic during Christmas season.
Yeah,
there's just too much shit happening.
Or a candy store to a kid. There's just too much.
There's too much to take in, and it's all very small.
Yeah. So I've played the only other Monster Hunter experience I've had is I have it on the Wii U, Monster Hunter 3, I think. And I was able to get into it and enjoy it somewhat on that. It's a weird type of game that there's a lot of details that you have to learn to play it. And so in that sense, if you put it down for any length of time and try to come back to it, you're going to have to start over. It's one of those.
Right.
You know? So the idea of playing it on the 3DS was enticing to me because I could play it in bed and, play it every night and you get used to it. Problem is exactly what you just said. There's just too much going on the screen.
Too much going on.
That first little village that you get into when you first start the game, I couldn't even see the little characters that you had to go talk to. They're hidden in the background.
That was the problem.
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time's cool on it. It looks cool.
Ocarina of Time already is. There's plenty of space. And there's not a whole lot of stuff going on in it.
Right.
What do you think of the updated graphics though?
Oh, I'm enthusiastic about it.
Yeah,
it looks
cool.
great.
It is really cool.
I mean, it's no, Unreal Engine overhaul.
Yeah, but
have you seen those videos?
I have. Yeah, those are cool.
It's unbelievable. I'd like to see a full version of the game overhauled.
If you ever see something like that, it'll be one of those download it real quick before Nintendo shuts it down.
Yeah.
Other people have built like Metroid games and Pokemon games that Nintendo immediately shuts down.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it would be cool to see something like that. But I mean, for what it's worth, it's a pretty good little remake that they.
It really is. It is, and the sound is nice and crisp.
Yeah, and
I mean, just playing in the first few minutes, the opening to the Kikiri Forest.
Yeah,
and, the Great Deku Tree and the intro lore video and everything. Like it wasn't like plugging in a game like for the sake of playing it again.
Yeah,
because I haven't played that game since I was much younger. It immediately sucked me back in, just like I was a kid sitting down on the couch to play it again.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it did the same thing to me, kind of. I ended up letting my daughter haven't. She's took it over and she started to play. She got a 3DS XL for her birthday, and she's been playing Zelda. She's been playing it all day today. In fact, she beat the first boss and she got out of the Kakariko village, and now she's trying to get into the castle and can't remember how, or doesn't know how to get in the castle. So she's asking me. I was like, I don't remember. Well, how do I get Epona? I don't remember. It's been so long since I played this game. I mean, you're going to have to figure it all out on your own.
And that's okay. That's the fun of it. She'll learn.
Yeah, she will.
She's going to learn today.
But I would like to see her go from this game to Majora's Mask and see the big disconnect that all of us experience with those two games. Because Majora's Mask is leaps and bounds harder.
Yeah. And darker.
Of time, and darker. And it doesn't really tell you what to do, and there's a lot of running around trying to figure it out and trial and error,
which really was kind of a flagship idea at the time.
I think it's a really interesting idea.
To just drop you in it and be like, all right.
I prefer games like that these days.
I do too.
And back then though, I don't know that I did. I needed some hand holding back then.
Well, yeah.
And this game, like, you get through the 3 days, or is it 3 days?
Yeah, 3 days cycle.
You get through the 3 days and then have to restart and be like, do it all over again. That turned me off, and I don't think I got very far into it. But since getting it on the 3DS, I've managed to progress further than I did as a kid, or I wasn't a kid when I played it the first time. It was better this time than it was last time, and I'm really digging it. So I haven't played it in a while, just because, video game ADD. It's one of the symptoms is not finishing games.
Yeah.
And picking up a new one while you're in the middle of an old one.
I mean, we've got it. It's a clinical issue.
It is, man. And I don't help my situation by buying a ton of.
No, it's ridiculous.
Ton of old games, and I'm not helping it now. I mean, as you can see, in the past week, I played 3 new games.
Yeah, that's nuts. I forgot all those demo discs I was going to bring you.
Oh, that's all right. We'll get them next time.
There's probably like 40.
Wow. Did you have a
PS2 demo discs?
Are they from the magazine?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember having those. Actually, no, I think they're all gone. I did have a lot of those demo discs from the magazine. What was it? The official PlayStation magazine. Yeah. That was cool, man. I miss those days. Demo days. They don't even really do demos anymore, to be honest with you.
Not really. I mean, downloadable demos.
Yeah, but even then, it's like used to. Most of the new popular games were going to have a demo. That's not really the case anymore. I mean, some rare occasions you might get a demo, and it's usually on Nintendo console if you see any demos at all. So, anyway, anything else you want to talk about? Anything new in the few weeks I haven't seen you?
No, I tried For Honor for a few minutes last night.
That was free this weekend. I tried it too.
Free play weekend. It was cool. I think I went into it expecting something much different.
Yeah. So what was your take on it? Because I want to hear if you had the same opinion as me.
The controls feel so slow.
Yeah.
And so stiff. Honestly, like I just kind of played like the tutorial section.
Right.
And I get it. It's a tutorial, so it's going to move slow and everything. But I couldn't get into the controls of the game. It felt very cumbersome.
So were you able to figure out the whole moving the right analog stick to block?
Yeah.
So that to me was a little bit more involved than I wanted the game to be. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like once you get through that first level, I started off as a knight. So
I did too.
Okay. The knight just seemed cooler because you had the option between knight, samurai, and Viking.
Yes.
So I went with the knight, and your castle is being attacked, and you have to fight one-on-one with other knights, but then you have like lesser knights who aren't as strong as the other knights that you have to use the right analog stick to block and guard and everything. And you just hit them one time and they're dead. They're just waves of enemies. So you get through the level and there's some story progression going on, and you every so often have to fight a main knight, and then at the end of the level you have to fight like the head knight, or the second man to the head knight, and it's a hard battle where you have to move the analog stick in the direction that it wants you to move, in the direction that he's going to attack. Block it, do a counterattack from another angle so he doesn't block your attack, and it's just back and forth that way until the battle's over. And as much as I wanted to like what I was seeing, I wasn't.
I just wasn't impressed.
Yeah, I wasn't into it.
And also, and maybe that's why they had a free weekend, as long as that game's already been out.
Well, yeah.
For them to turn around and be like, oh, yeah, here's a free weekend. Give this a go.
I believe that game is like $13 on Amazon Prime right now.
Right. I mean, it's
not doing too well. According to their price point, it's not doing too well. I don't know the official sales numbers, but what I've played, I feel like, yeah, okay. I don't want to play any more of it.
I mean, yeah, for a free download weekend, okay.
I'm glad to be able to try. I was always been curious about it because to me it resembled an Xbox One game called it was, oh man, I can't remember the name. It was a launch title and it was a sword game where you, oh man, it's gonna kill me. Anyway, it was a launch Xbox One title that was kind of similar in theme. You were kind of a knight and you're going around fighting guys with your giant sword. That game was a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it. I was hoping For Honor would be along those lines, and it wasn't.
It just wasn't.
It just fell flat.
And in that same wave of downloading For Honor, I downloaded Worms.
Oh yeah, that was free.
Yeah. I haven't jumped into that one yet.
So I have that one on Xbox One. It's Worms. If you like Worms, you'll like this game. Now,
I mean, for the people that don't know what Worms was,
yeah,
hit them with it.
Okay, so Worms is it's 2 teams of like 5 worms, and these are actual like animated little cartoon
worms with personalities.
A lot of personality. They have different voices and
military
everything.
ranks.
Yeah, military ranks. So you set up your worms on the or they come pre-set up on the battlefield, and the object of the game is to kill the other team's worms, all of them. And how you do this is you choose a weapon. You have a grid of weapons that you can choose from, and all of them do something different. Like the main weapon would be like a missile launcher. So you will aim your missile launcher, and you have to take in consideration wind and where they are on the map, and a lot of different factors, environmental factors, before you fire off your weapon. So you'll aim your weapon, and then you'll hold down the attack button long enough, and there's a meter that goes up. Full blast will give it a full blast, shot. Half blast won't. And if you just touch the button without holding it down, it just goes up, straight down, and will kill you, basically. So anyway, you push the button, hold it down, judge where you want your bullet to go, and it's one of those games that you just have to get good at the mechanics, but it's so much fun. Like, I don't know if I explained the gameplay mechanics very well, but I can picture it in my head how it works, but it's complicated.
I'm excited to play it, and I think there'll be some good times.
Have you ever played a Worms game yet?
I haven't played Worms since the original.
Yeah.
On PC.
Yeah. So it's just like that. Think that game with updated graphics, and it's still the same game.
Really, I downloaded it because I knew that my wife was into Worms whenever she was a kid.
Yeah. And
it's a bid to try to get her to play a video game.
She would love Worms. Worms is one of those games that once you teach somebody how to play, and it's not that complicated to learn. It sounds complicated by my description, but it's really not. Once you learn how to play it, you can have some really like fun, fierce 2-on-2 battles, or 1-on-1 battles, I should say. You can have up to 4 people play against each other, I think.
That's cool.
Yeah, and you can even pass the controller around, so you don't have to have 4 controllers. At least it used to be that way. I think it's still that way now, but back in the PS1 days, my buddy and I would play Worms like nonstop. I mean, I'd go over to his house and we just play game after game after game and just get pissed at each other, and just it's one of those games.
Why am I even here right now?
Yeah, you could get angry because like you'll be down to 1-on-1, or say I just got 1 worm left. He'll bunker down into like, or he'll have 1 worm left. He'll take and use the blowtorch and start digging into the earth and create a little hole for himself, so you can't really get to him where you are. So you kind of have to dig to get to him. It's a fun game. It's really a fun game.
So you're saying we got to get on there?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I would play with you for sure on that game. That's got online capabilities. You're right. I haven't downloaded it yet. I need to download it. I did purchase it though. It was free. So yeah, need to get on that. So, anything else you got, or you want to jump into Battlefront?
I think I'm kind of holding off jumping into Battlefront because you got to play it before me.
It's it's so what happened was with that, this game is not out yet
I know.
officially, and it came out on EA Access on the Xbox One. EA Access, for those that don't know, is a subscription-based service on Xbox that allows you to play EA games a week before their launch, and it also has a vault where you can download older games and play them for free. And it's like $5 a month or $30 for a year. I've known about it for a long time, but I've never really seen a reason as to why I would jump into it. It's just none of the games there. I own most of the games in the vault anyway, and hadn't been anything that I wanted to play. I went on Twitch and was watching a guy play Battlefront 2. It's like, wait, that's not out yet. And he's talking about playing it on EA Access. I was like, oh, I want to play this game. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. So I went ahead and paid the $5 for a month, just to try it out, and downloaded Battlefront, thinking I always thought that they were the full game, and you only got to play 10 hours of the full game before launch, but it's actually like a trial version of the full game. And what I've found that to mean is the story mode is limited to 3 missions, which, if I didn't know that Battlefront 2 was going to have a story mode. Did you know this?
I did not. I did not know.
This is a game changer for me. This put the game on the map for me as being one I want to play.
Told you.
I thought it was just going to be
I
another.
didn't even know. I'm sitting here preaching.
So I thought it was just going to be multiplayer again. I was like, well, I have Battlefront Run that I barely put any time into. I'm not sure I really want to invest money to sit on my shelf again,
Right.
So I played through the first 3 missions, and you start off as this woman. I can't remember her name. She has a weird name anyway. But she is part of the Empire. So you're playing like a bad guy, and you're seeing what's going on from, I think, Return of the Jedi-ish, when the second Death Star got destroyed. You're seeing what's going on from their perspective, and it's really cool. It's something that I didn't, ever think about. It's like they're giving character and personality to the enemy of the main series,
Which I really dig.
It's awesome.
I've always wanted to actually have a more in-depth option, I guess, to play as the Empire.
It's
to be in that side of things.
It's really cool. See, you start off the game, you are being interrogated by the rebellion, and they're trying to get some coordinates from you, I think, if I can remember correctly. And you are fighting or resistant to they're not torturous or anything. They're not like bad people. So they're saying they're going to take her droid and try to extract the information from the droid. Well, while they're doing that, then you take control of the droid and you shock the guy who's trying to get information out of you, and you escape, and then you go break the main character out of her prison cell and escape. So it's just you mowing down rebels. It's kind of like, I didn't like it at first. I was like, no, these are the good guys. I don't want to kill the good guys. But then you get used to it and you're like, this is just fun.
Right.
It's just fun. And another big game changer besides the story, and I was getting into the story, I was really enjoying it. Space battles.
Oh man.
Space battles are so fun. The last time I played a good Star Wars space battle game was Rogue Leader on the GameCube. It was just a space battle.
I think it was
Star Wars game.
Rogue Leader.
And
Rogue Galaxy? No,
it's Rogue Leader. Yeah, right there. It's one of those games that I don't think that they've done space battles like this in a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For Star Wars universe anyway. And it works so well. It works incredibly well. So played through that, and then I got through the 3rd mission, and it says now you have to purchase the game when it comes out to experience the rest. It's like, no, I wanted to beat the game so bad. So it's now gone on my radar for a purchase. I don't know that I'll purchase it immediately after it comes out, but I will get it.
So still not calling it a day one?
No. There's rare occasions when I'll purchase a game day one. It's not one of those yet. Although there is so much more to do in this game than there was in the first Battlefront. It blows me away. It's seriously cool.
Man, I'm still disappointed at how disappointing the first Battlefront was.
It was disappointing. Like, I wanted to love that game. I really did. And I didn't.
Because I went bananas to get the Battlefront PS4 bundle when it dropped.
Really?
Yeah. That's what I ended up buying.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what didn't you like about this first one?
It
you
seemed
have to put
flat.
back into the memories. Yeah.
It seemed flat. The gameplay seemed flat and limited.
Limited. That would be a good word.
because I've played so many Star Wars games that were just fantastic games.
Yeah.
The cool thing about that PS4 bundle was that it came with some like back catalog Star Wars games that were cool to go back and play.
PS2 ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that was cool, and I'm glad that I have that bundle, and I still go back and I play the online PvP every now and again.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I mean that's the only reason to play that game is the online PvP is pretty good.
Well, that's really the only thing it has to offer. That was the big downfall for that game. It's just there wasn't enough content.
Right. And I've scoured the menus several times because I just feel like I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's a feature here that I didn't find, or an option here that I didn't use, and it's just pretty cut and dry. This is the game they gave us. It's not a bad game. It's just I think everyone expected so much more that by the time it came out, it was like, well, okay.
So the problem I have with that game is exactly what you just said. It didn't have enough features. You play just one or two rounds of a mission and you got the gist of the game.
Right.
You start an online. It's online only, which sucks. It doesn't work for every game, and it didn't work for this one, in my opinion. So you start off the mission as one side or the other. You're either attacking or defending the objective. And what I found is that the maps were not properly. They weren't even. Like there was one map. There was a snow map in particular. Yeah. That one always, the attackers always won. Always. It was so unbalanced. It just didn't work. And so I felt like it was fun to be an attacker because you're never going to win. But if you're defending, it sucks. I'd never played, and I played several rounds of that, and I'd never played a mission.
It got frustrating.
It did. So yeah, it was unbalanced. There wasn't a whole lot going on. You couldn't, it fell flat in a lot of ways. Battlefront 2 fixes all of that. The amount of content in this game blew me away when I was playing the trial edition.
That's really all I want.
The story mode alone was worthy enough for me for a purchase. You have online multiplayer, which is like the old one. The maps seemed a little bit more varied, and the characters seemed more varied. The abilities that your characters get were more varied. The unlockables that you get seemed to work better and were more cohesive and understandable. But the biggest thing that I love the most about this, online multiplayer space battles. So I played last night. In fact, I played probably 7 battles back to back, and these aren't short battles, of the space battles. And I'm sitting there in the living room hollering at my TV, Rebel Leader or Red Leader, just I was feeling like I was in a freaking Star Wars movie, dude. It did it so well. Like the sound effects, the laser bullets flying all over the place, maneuvering in and out of different structures. You could fly into this bigger space, like the Star Destroyer. You'd fly into the Star Destroyer to destroy like a central thing to blow it up, while the other team is trying to stop you from doing that. And you've got dialogue going on back and forth of the people telling you what to do.
I can't wait.
Dude, I got so into it. I absolutely loved it. So that to me, I don't have to play the Trooper version. I want to play the Star Wars space battles. I have not seen a space battle game like this where it's a multiplayer, and I don't think ever. I mean, if there has been one, I haven't seen it. It just works, and it works really, really well. Especially if you're a Star Wars fan. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're gonna eat it up. I totally just was so taken back, to the movies. I loved it. It's fun. And for that reason alone, story mode, space battles, purchase for me. It's not going to be a day one purchase. Like I said, it'll be, after I get some other games taken care of out of my backlog. Yeah. So I'm thinking probably as soon as it hits a $40 mark, I'll probably pick it up.
Okay. So that's your word on it?
That's
Is like maybe first
$30 to $40
first tier discount.
Yes. Yeah.
Might be the pickup then.
Yeah.
Well, my wife's boss, who I'm pretty sure is a big Star Wars fan,
Yeah.
listens to the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a regular listener. Hey, Tom Cruise. His name's actually Tom Cruise.
Oh, nice. So you got Tom Cruise and Ryan Reynolds.
Here's a message from Ryan Reynolds. Thanks for listening, and this review is for you.
Tom Cruise, I'm telling you, this is a day one purchase. If you're on the fence about it or not, it's a day one purchase. Pick it up.
For a Star Wars fan, it's a day one purchase.
For a Star Wars fan, it's amazing.
All right.
Yeah. There's plenty of content there.
I'm still saying, you know how rarely I ever even consider a day one purchase.
Right.
Like one game every few years.
Right.
Fallout 4 was the last game that I considered a day one purchase.
That's been a while.
Yes. This is my next, and I didn't even end up day one purchasing Fallout 4. It was out for maybe a month before I got my hands on it. But if I have the means and the time, this will be my next day one purchase.
It's worth it. In fact, I might go rent it day one and keep it for a week just to get a good feel, or my fill.
That may be a better option, actually.
I want to get through the story really bad. Like, the story gripped me enough that when it ended, I was like, no, I want to finish it. So yeah, I mean, for that at least, I want to play more of it. But for the extended term of the game, space battles, man, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see your take on it. Yeah. So when
excited.
we get into the space battles, like, I want to know, like for someone who's another Star Wars fan, what your take is. A buddy of mine who's even bigger Star Wars fan than I am, I want him to play this game and experience it because I really think he could totally get into it.
See, once I do go get my hands on it, though, I'm going to have to make your Vita disappear for a little bit.
I don't think it'd work on Vita.
You don't think so?
What I've seen with playing second screen on Vita or remote play with the Vita, it lags out too much. Online multiplayer flat doesn't work. The lack of a second stick so you got your shoulder buttons.
I think this is the last conversation we'll have about Vita because I've effectively been talked out of it at this point.
Because you want it for the remote play feature.
That's the only reason I want it.
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
not
only
good
thing
for
I care about on
it. So they make you touch the back of the Vita.
Oh, you know what? You told me about that.
For the L2 and R2 buttons, and it doesn't work for a shooter at all.
Nah.
It works for RPG games and stuff like that, but Twitch-based, fast-paced shooters, no, it doesn't work, especially for ones online. And it loses its connection often enough to take you out of the game. And yeah, that was a big selling point for me on the Vita, was the remote play for sure. And honestly, I only used it a handful of times, and it was an inadequate experience to make me stop.
All right. Fair. Fair.
Okay, so from there, also, I would recommend EA Access if you have an Xbox One. It was cool enough. It was worth $5 for me to get the experience Star Wars Battlefront and change my opinion on the game, and let me see things that I didn't know existed in the game.
How much does an Xbox One cost now?
Black Friday. If you wait for Black Friday, it's going to be $190 at Walmart, I believe. That's like a doorbuster, but it's going to be $200 pretty much everywhere.
I wonder if I would get enough use out of one of those.
I would say no, unless there was something, an exclusive that you really want to play on the Xbox. I would say no.
I mean, the Switch is the first deviation I've taken from PlayStation since the early 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, most of the games that come out on the PS4 also come out on the Xbox One.
That's true.
And I think PS4 has more and better exclusives than the Xbox One does. And so unless there's something on the Xbox One that you just really want to play, I'd say skip it.
All right. Consider it skipped. This episode brought to you by Ryan still not playing Xbox.
That's all right. I mean, I like the Xbox, but it's not my preferred console right now. It's the PlayStation.
Right.
Followed very closely by the Switch. I think with Mario, dude, I played the crap out of it. I talked about it last episode, but I played that thing every night for a couple hours and just couldn't put it down. The Mario game was just amazing.
Man, I called Family Video and I was like, do you guys have a copy of Mario for the Switch? And they're like, yeah, we do, but it'll be back in tomorrow. And I was like, all right. So I go in the next day and I'm like, hey, do you have that copy? And they're like, well, someone checked it in, but about 30 minutes ago, and there was already 4 people here just waiting for that person to check it in. Like, all right. And they were like, but it should be back. And they told me the day that it was supposed to be back. So I went back early that day before work, and I walked in, and the lady just looks at me and goes, nope. I didn't even say anything. Nope. I was like, oh, all right.
That's not good.
So wherever she's from, nope apparently is a full conversation for like, quit trying, you dumb dick.
Well, I got news for you. GameStop announced that they're going to start renting their used games.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, and it's going to be $10 a month, and you have to do it for 6 months. So it's $60 for 6 months. If I'm understanding and remembering this correctly, I only briefly read about this and heard about it on a podcast. So you pay the $60, you can rent unlimited used games from there. You bring it back, you get another one, just like Blockbuster used to do.
Yeah.
And
or a library.
Oh, yeah. Or a library. So at the end of your 6-month period, you are allowed to take or keep a used game.
Well, that's cool.
It is cool. I think it's a good deal. It almost sounds too good to be true, Well,
but if you think about it, really, by the time it's all said and done, yeah, you've tried all these games, and that's cool. You've basically sampled, demoed these games. But effectively, all you're doing is paying $60 for a used game at the end of it.
Because they still get their game back.
They still get all their other games back, and they end up offloading a game that maybe you would have bought for $15.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So they're capitalizing hard. It's a cool deal. Yeah. And it's a fantastic way to capitalize. Also relatively shameless. But if people bite off on it, that's cool. Because if you look at it, if they have 10 $15, used games sitting on the shelf for a year.
Yeah.
Because nobody's buying them. And so eventually they're just going to clearance them out to 75 cents a pop. And some kid comes in and is like, I'll just buy them all. Because they're 75 cents. That's what I did whenever they closed out all their PS2 stuff.
Yeah.
So I was just buying stacks of games for the sake of buying them.
I did that with the Xbox 360 and PS3. Actually.
All those games I told you about that I've never managed to find.
Yeah.
I think somebody just got drunk and walked out of my house with them. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But so they have, 10 games at $15 a pop that aren't selling. Eventually they're going to have to close them out. Instead, they can say, all right, for the next 6 months, you can sample every single one of these games.
Yeah.
And at the end of that 6 months that you've paid $60 for, you keep one. So there's one game off the shelf for $60. Now they've got 9 left at $15 a piece, but you told your 8 or 9 friends about the same deal. So by the time it's over, instead of selling $150 worth of games or putting them on clearance, they've sold 10 games for $600 to you and your friends.
What about the new releases though? Because what if they get say they get new release game and then they get a used copy within the next week?
Well, they can't sell that for $60.
That's true.
They're still capitalizing on it.
That's true.
Because that new release, that somebody's like, oh, somebody's already played that. Now it's back on the shelf for $45.
Yeah.
You know what? If I hold off, I can wait another month and, there'll be 12 people that have put one back here. So they'll be at $20 a piece.
Honestly, though, yeah, I mean, the way you make it sound, it is true that they're winning in the end. But if you went and did a deal like Family Video, for instance, they have a deal where you pay, I don't know, $20 or $30 a month, I think, and you get half price rentals. And it's like, okay, like if you're going to be renting these games anyway, it makes sense to go ahead and do GameStop's version of it.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you're essentially
paying
a
prize at the end.
Yeah, you're essentially paying $10 a month for unlimited rentals. That's a good deal in itself.
And I mean, really, if you've got one of those games that you have your eye on already,
yeah,
you can
even if you didn't get to keep a game at the end of your 6-month period, it's still a good deal.
It's still a good deal, absolutely. Yeah. It's just a very clever good deal.
Yeah, it works, and I think if they can manage this correctly, it could help GameStop, recoup some of their income that they may be losing. Problem is,
we caught them slipping.
Yeah, the problem is though. Oh, you're my shirt.
The shirt.
Game Chasers. Shout out Game Chasers. YouTube channel I like to watch.
Yeah.
the thing is about that, though, is if enough people do it, then the amount of used games that are in store for new people to come in and purchase just straight off the shelf, it seems like that would diminish a little bit and prevent potential used sales. You know what I mean?
And I don't know, maybe it's a shift in their sales paradigm.
Maybe they just go to this new format.
Maybe they move to,
if it works,
this rent to own type format. Because if it works, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, maybe just have like the new releases up, and instead of having an entire store dedicated to just titles on titles on titles, you know, they're borrowing all the best pieces of, you know, Family Video and Vintage Stock and, you know, different services like that, and kind of, you know, capitalizing upon the best pieces of all those right now. So I mean, they may be onto something.
I'm curious to see where it goes.
It may just be like a you know, a squirrely little cup full of idiocy that they're sipping from, and it, you know, maybe it just destroys them. We'll see. I think it sounds cool. It sounds cool.
It sounds cool enough that I'm tempted to go ahead and give it a shot.
Yeah.
Once I have $60, it's one of those things that's like, it would be cool to just go in there and rent a 3DS game, you know, or rent a Wii U game, Switch game, whatever. Rent it, you know, and keep it for as long as I want, bring it back whenever I want, and, you know, get the full experience out of the game. And by the time I'm done with it, pick something else up. It's really enticing to me, and I might go ahead and try it out. I don't know when they're rolling it out or if they have yet already, but it's something that I'm curious about. It sounds like a good deal. So, moving on, I wanted to talk about a recent release that I picked up. .hack GU Last Recode. It's another one of those Japanese, really crappy naming system. So what this game is, it is a part of the .hack series that was released on the PlayStation 2. They released the original series .hack. There was 4 games in that series. And I have the first one. I've only briefly played it, didn't get very far into it. But then later on, they released a sequel series called .hack GU. This sequel series came out in 3 parts on the PlayStation 2. So in celebration of the 15-year anniversary of the .hack series, they remastered .hack GU and re-released them on the PlayStation 4. And they also added another episode. So there's 4 episodes instead of 3. And I've been curious about this game for a long time, and I've always wanted to delve in and try it because the concept sounds very interesting to me. But it's a high dollar PS2 game. I think in order to buy all 3 episodes, it's, you know, it'll cost close to $200.
I mean, how much was that? I found that one in Vintage Stock the other day and sent you a picture of it.
Yeah, that one was $70.
Yeah.
Vintage Stock has ridiculous pricing though. I could buy that same game on eBay for 60, 50-ish probably.
But I mean, still the principle of it though is that's
like a 12-year-old game that they're still having has a higher price tag used than it did new.
Now, okay, so that being said, is it like kind of a cult phenomenon thing, or is it like just like the pocket crowd of these JRPG players, or is it that good of a game that aged that well?
No, so it's a pocket crowd of JRPG players. I don't know how well known this game is, but I do know that not a whole lot of them were made, and hence the reason they're hard to come by. Which makes sense because when you think about it, you release a JRPG in 3 parts, and they may produce a lot of the first one, and judging off the sales of the first one is how much they'll release of the second one.
Right.
Based on the sales of that is how much they'll release of the third one. Because you can't just jump into the third game and start playing it, because it relies on the story that you would have missed from the previous 2 games. So for them to throw all these games into one package and be remastered for the PlayStation 4, it was a no-brainer to me, because I would much rather pay the $50 they were asking for it versus the $200 for the PlayStation 2 versions. Granted, I didn't pay $50 for it. I had reward money at Best Buy and was able to get the game for like $25.
Hell yeah, you were.
Dude, I am a bargain gamer. I'm the epitome of a bargain gamer. Cheap ass gamer is what you can call me.
Cheap ass gamer.
Yeah. Stolen from the cheapassgamer.com, one of my favorite websites. Has been for many years. I've learned a lot of my tricks of the trade from that website.
Cheap ass gamer.
Yeah.
I don't know how I've been sleeping on that website.
It's a great site. I think they're more well known for the podcast, but the community, it's a forum based website where the community is really good about keeping up with current prices and getting them out there so people can get the best deals for their games.
Oh, cool.
So anyway, I picked this game up, and the reason why this game has always been interesting to me is because it takes on the storyline is based on an MMO. This is an MMO, so you are playing as a character in an MMO. Okay, so your main character, you don't ever actually get to see him. You are playing his character that he's playing within the game. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if I'm explaining it right because it is kind of complicated.
I mean, that's a lot of extra.
It is. So you are playing this MMO, and you log into the world. It's called The World, this MMO game, and you meet people and you talk to them, and you're like talking to their character, but you're also talking to them in like real world sense. So you're talking to the person behind the character. It's complicated in that way. And then you can log out and check your email. So these characters that you meet within this game will send you emails, and you can kind of strengthen your bond with them through corresponding through email. You also have forums for the game. So these are made up forums, and every time you log out, there might be a new post in the forum that you'll go read, and it'll, you might learn something about, hey, there's this new area that you can go to, and they'll give you the code to get to that area. Or there's one forum that people post fan artwork of the game that they're playing. And so they'll post this fan artwork, and you'll look at it, and it'll download into your system, and you could change your desktop background within the game to this fan artwork that these other characters have made. And it's cool because it looks like deviant art type stuff.
Right.
Know? It's just very like Photoshoppy, fuzzy type artwork like you would see fan art,
How bizarre.
It's so bizarre. It really is, man. You'll see full on threads of forum conversations of real world type events, fake real world events, but it's done in a way that's very believable. And it's like, I almost want to offer in my own opinion as to what they're talking about or something, or you'll meet a character within the game, and this main character in the game that you met, you'll start talking to them, getting to know them a little bit more. And then they'll start sending you emails outside of the game about like what's going on within the game, but also like personal type stuff. The game is the concept of it is super cool to me. And the thought that went into creating, having a real world and another world. You're basically creating a world within a world and making it into a video game for people to experience. And I love it. I'm totally into it right now. I think I've played that game every night since I got it. Can't put it down. I don't know how far I'm in. I'm still on the first game within the series. I don't know how close I am to beating the first game, but it's totally got my interest. And it's funny. There's a lot of humorous things that go on in the game. The only thing I really hate about the game is the main character that you play as. He's a jerk, man. He's a complete and utter jerk. Any new character, like there's this one girl that you meet, and she starts talking to you, and she's not even saying anything cocky or mean or anything. And he immediately calls her old woman and starts like belittling her. And she takes a lot of offense to it, obviously. And then so they have this clashing relationship that started because your character is a straight up jerk and just was belittling her for no damn reason. He's a bully. He's a bully. And he bullies a lot of people in this game. He just thinks he's the king crap, anybody else falls before him. And, anyway, the storyline, I would get into the storyline, but I'm not, I'll just let you know what I already let you know. I think that's enough of a pool to, for anybody who may be slightly interested in the game.
Even if I never play it, I'll probably go read about it.
It's really cool. I'm totally into it. And the fact that this is a old PS2 game that I'm more into than modern games says a lot.
Yeah.
I like to play a lot of modern games, and the fact that I went from Super Mario Odyssey straight to this game, and I'm I probably put more hours into this game than I have Odyssey
Wow.
at this point. It's really good, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I recommend it to anybody who may be on the fence about trying it out, or maybe you've heard about it and you don't know much about it. If you can get past the fact that it's the graphics are still dated. Yes, they're remastered, and yes, they look better, but they're still dated. You still have characters whose mouths don't move all the time. There'll be some times when they'll move, and then most of the time they're not moving. That's another thing. It's very heavily story driven.
Right.
So be prepared to sit and watch a lot of dialogue happen. And then be also prepared to log out of the world and read through a bunch of forum posts and emails that you get. It's a very passive game, but the combat mechanics are fun. They're real time, push X to attack type things, and they're pretty fast paced for a PS2 game, I think, and they work and they're fun. I never got bored playing any of the battles. But on top of the heavily story driven aspect, it's all voice acted. The only time I can remember, I mean, there's a few times when there's not voice acting happening, but the only time really that you're reading anything is when you back out of the world. But within the world, whenever you talk to anybody, it's all completely 100% voice acted, unless it's not an unscripted event or whatever. But yeah, .hack GU Last Recode. I recommend it to anybody who's curious about it. It's a fun game. And it's worth that price point too. I mean, versus buying the game straight out, the old ones.
I mean, I don't honestly, I don't think I know anyone that's into JRPGs other than you.
It's a niche market.
It might just be you.
It probably is just me. I don't know many people who are into it either. There's a select few people that I know, and it's a very niche market, and I'm okay with that. I like passive gameplay. I like to be able to sit down on my couch and unwind with a good story and a good, just kind of like easy gameplay that's not going to stress me out. When I'm done with work, I don't want to be stressed out. When I'm done with helping out, cooking dinner, getting kids to karate and all that stuff, and you just want to stop and settle down, RPGs are great for that for me. I guess Skyrim would be too. Skyrim would be a great sit down game. So I know you get that same feeling.
Zone out and explore and
exactly
jump off some mountains.
So whenever I'm playing like a game like Battlefront or something, that involves me to be fully engaged and into it. And I'm not into that style of gameplay all the time. But when I am, I'm totally into it, and I have a good time.
Because when you got to concentrate, you got to concentrate.
Yeah. But if I'm wanting to just sit down and unwind, JRPGs are where I go. That's why I collect JRPGs. My intention is to get through all of them. Maybe not beat all of them, but at least taste them, see what I may have missed, in the JRPG market, because there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
And anyway, that's that. I got one more game to talk about before we wrap things up here. I think we're running close to an hour. So, Skyforce Anniversary. Are you familiar with this one?
I'm completely unfamiliar.
Okay. So this was a PS Plus game last month, and it is a shoot 'em up. It is you are a spaceship, and you're a weak spaceship, and you collect things. You kill the enemies, and you collect their orbs and stuff that you use as currency to buy upgrades for your ship.
And you said this was a free download, right?
It was. I don't think it is. Last month, yeah. But this is a free download on your phone. It was a phone game first. This is how I knew about it and why I downloaded it.
I think that's what kept me from downloading it, is I needed some extra space, and I had it queued, I think, and then was just like...
Okay, so if you already queued it, then you should be able to still get it.
I added it to my library.
Okay, then you're good. It's worth it. It's fun.
Okay.
I had the phone version first a couple years ago, actually, and I really dug it. I had a fun time with it. You touch the screen, you touch your ship, and you move them around with your finger. And when you let go, it slows way down and almost pauses until you put your finger back down on it. So that way you don't miss out. So they can sense if you're not actually touching the screen. Oh, and it works really well. So I really got into it there. And then when I saw that they released it on the PS4, I was like, yeah, cool. I'll play this again. Picked it up, and dude, I played it for the first night I got it. I think I put 2 hours straight into it, and
wow,
upgraded my ship. It's one of those games that it's like it has a carrot on a stick. You want to keep upgrading your ship and getting stronger and getting better. And the way you do that is playing through the levels and getting more orbs to upgrade your ship. And then when you play through a level that just absolutely kicked your butt, and then you come back to it later, more powerful, it feels so good to be able to take these enemies out. It's a great pool for that. The only thing I probably would say negative about it is the level design. Every single level looks the same. Absolutely the same. The enemies are different slightly, or there might be varied, like a different color.
Right.
But other than that, the environments all look the same. And I wish there was some variety there. I think I'm halfway through the level progression, and there hasn't been any difference so far. So other than that, it's a fun game. It's worth checking out.
I will check it out.
I don't think it's that big either, so you might have enough space to put it on your system. I see where your mind is going. Whoa.
The eyebrows. I mean, you know I've got enough space to put it in my system.
Oh, man. I didn't know you would go there, but you did. You can't help it.
I can't. I do not have the ability to help that at all.
That's all right.
Man, I'll check it out. I've downloaded so much stuff in the past couple of months that like stuff that I've like just kind of tinkered with a little, like Brawlhalla.
You still haven't played that one yet?
I played a couple rounds on it, you know, because it was, you know, by all accounts, it was like Super Smash Brothers, but with Vikings, kind of.
So it didn't do anything for you then?
No, the game, it wasn't as charming as Super Smash Brothers. It was cool.
Is that because it doesn't have the character pool that?
Well, and it has a big character pool, but it's a proprietary character pool.
Right.
Like, you know, it's just characters that were built for that game. So it's a lot of cool characters with a lot of cool abilities, but it doesn't have that kind of like manic, frenetic energy of Smash Brothers.
Do you think Smash Brothers would have taken off without having the Nintendo license though?
No.
Say it was like a Brawlhalla and you just have a bunch of generic characters. Would it still have taken off?
Okay. I think the style, maybe would have stood a chance. I feel like if Brawlhalla had come out first, it would have been a fun party game that people would have really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And then if Super Smash Brothers had come along and emulated Brawlhalla and been Super Smash Brothers, Brawlhalla would have been forgotten.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's what I think it is it's a game that was made to be forgotten.
Yeah.
Which is it kind of sucks to say, you know?
Well, I mean,
if someone is listening that like really likes that game, they're like, asshole, that's a good game. Have you ever, do you not like Vikings? But I mean,
I don't like Vikings. Sorry. I'm a Viking hater.
They were bad dudes.
They were.
And doodads since 2017. I'm not trying to tell you who the Vikings identified as.
Yeah. They identified as, like, when I saw them on For Honor, I was like, no, I'm not playing as a Viking.
I'm not playing as you. You were bad.
Yeah. I don't want to be a Viking.
You were a bad guy.
I'd rather be a samurai. I don't even find samurais to be super cool. I'd rather be a ninja than a samurai. I think
if Vikings were going to be on For Honor, it would have made sense to have a pirate class.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe they do. Because when I beat that first level, it unlocked like 3 new classes of characters.
Really?
Yes. So there's more than just those 3. But I can't remember what they were.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that you're going to have like a gladiator.
Yes. Yep. Gladiator.
I bet somewhere on there's probably a pirate.
Basically, if you could think of warriors from history, from a different culture, they have it in there.
Feminists.
That's DLC. To be continued.
All right. So yeah, Brawlhalla was a miss. I played it. It just seemed kind of sluggish and repetitive.
Well, at least you tried it out.
And it jacked a lot of elements from Smash Brothers.
Really?
Like if you get hit hard enough, you go off the screen, and then it has a little window that shows you with like an explosion.
Yeah.
Off the side.
Yeah. So one thing about Smash Brothers, not to get off on Smash Brothers, but I don't think if it had the characters, it would do it for me. Because when I used to play it, even still today, like the controls don't work for me. I see you churning in there. You want to say it so bad. You just want to get it out. So
it's the characters that do it for you. I'm not going to go into it. You just said not trying to get off on Smash Brothers. I can't not go there.
I forgot that I even said that.
So I mean, okay. So if there was like a facsimile of Smash Brothers on, PlayStation.
Yes. Like, have you played that one? The PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale?
No.
Really?
That's a thing?
That's a thing, man.
Is it?
You got Sweet Tooth, Power Rapper the Rapper.
No, it's Parupa the Fupa.
Parupa the... I'm surprised you remember that. Parupa the Fupa. You got Nathan Drake from Uncharted series. You got a bunch of different like first-party PlayStation or Sony
and was
games.
It Smash Brothers?
It was good. I enjoyed it. I think I liked
same style gameplay.
Same style, yes. It was slightly varied, but for the most part, it was the same. I think I had more fun with that than I did with Smash Brothers, the one on the Wii. Brawl. Was it Brawl, the one that came out on the Wii? Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
At the time when I had Smash Brothers Brawl, I really enjoyed it, but I think I enjoyed the gameplay at least of the Sony one a little bit more.
Well, I mean, I didn't know that existed. I'll try it now.
It's cool, and it's dirt cheap. You can probably go to get it at GameStop for less than $5.
I think it'd be cool to see PlayStation take like all of their, flagship characters like that.
Yeah.
That they made a game like that with, but put them in like a Fortnite Battle Royale type setting.
That would be an interesting thing.
Right. And they don't all have guns. Like the character you chose, you're in this open world with everyone and you have to use the weapon set that character had in their game.
Yeah, that's how the All-Star Battle Royale is.
Like, so if you're in there and you're in this open world Fortnite style or PUBG style and you choose Nathan Drake, then you've got like your sneaking skills and your firearms. Traversal skills. Or if you choose like Ezio from Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
You've got, all your assassin powers and all that shit.
Man.
Might be interesting, right?
You're onto something.
But if you choose like Crash Bandicoot, you can only just like spin at some bitches.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're onto something, actually.
I think it'd be kind of cool, right?
It would be cool. And if they could manage to pull something like that off, Battle Royale is a thing right now. And I think if they're going to do it,
huge thing.
They need to do it now.
And to kind of shake it up like that, where you have to give your characters like the actual talents and weapons that they had in their actual namesake game.
But I think though every character would still need to have some kind of projectile ability.
Yeah, each character would have to have like a designed projectile because say they put Crash Bandicoot, in that game against all these other guys, Solid Snake and Nathan Drake and Ezio Auditore, is that his last name?
Yeah.
You're not gonna watch fucking Crash Bandicoot pick up like a scoped sniper. Well, I don't know. Maybe you could.
He just throws apples at people.
Yeah, like give him like a slingshot.
There you go. That works.
With guided apples.
With apples, yeah. I like your idea. Sony, if you're listening, do it.
Yeah, well, and of course Sony is listening. They do every week.
Yeah, Sony.
Shout out to Sony.
Sony.
Thanks. Just a Big Gaming Podcast. Definitely not brought to you by Sony. We might get sued for me saying that.
Sony's all right by my book.
Yeah, I love them.
The original PlayStation is still my favorite system of all time. And I would continue to say the PS2, the PS3, the PS4. I love them all.
Yeah, they just have a consistently strong game.
Yeah.
Consistent. I love them.
Consistently consistent. Okay, with that, man, I got nothing else. You have anything?
Man, I don't really think so. I mean, not about games. I see you've got a nice little beard going.
Oh, do I?
Yeah. Are you participating in No Shave November?
No way, man.
This is my first go.
Oh, really?
At No Shave November.
I did notice your facial hair you got going on
that I actually have some.
More than just a little bit here, and yours grows in a little bit patchy like mine used to.
Yeah, right now I've got this little bit of a Tony Stark thing happening.
Yeah, it's looking good. I like it.
Yeah,
keep it up, man.
I was about to shave it the other day because it was itchy, and Malone actually got upset about it.
Really?
Because I'm not allowed to cut his hair right now because he wants to grow it out.
Oh,
and so he thinks I'm not allowed to shave since he's not cutting his hair.
That's the hardest part about growing a beard is getting itchy. Once you get past that stage, it's okay.
Right now, it's just awful.
Mine stays itchy though. Mine just stays itchy.
But Fat Big gets what Fat Big wants. You know what? Let me tell you a story about Fat Big.
Oh yeah, please.
So currently our living situation at night, our sleeping situation. He has his own room that he's been sleeping in for a year and a half.
Right.
But we've got baby sister now, and baby sister sleeps in our room. So we moved her to the crib, and we took the front rail of the crib off, and it's the same height. The mattress is the same height as our bed.
Right.
So we have our bed pushed up against it to where she feels like she's in the bed with us without actually like turning sideways and, killing us. So she wasn't sleeping. She was growing restless and all that. She eventually got so restless that we were like, we got to try something new. So we got the pack and play, the playpen.
Yeah.
And put her in that. And she just passes out. Like we lay her in there, she's done.
Yeah.
She loves it.
Right.
So Malone realizes that there's this open bitty bed, as he calls it, and starts sleeping in there.
Yeah.
So now we got both babies in our room. So, and Malone Fat Big just turned 3. He's a big boy now.
Happy birthday, Fat Big.
Happy birthday, Fat Big. Crash baby. Crash Poobah. So he recently has taught Tilly how to be a rocket.
Nice.
She holds things up.
Nice. She's not even a year yet, or is she?
No, she's 10 months. Almost 10 months.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, we had a rough night last night. Tilly did not want to sleep. About 5 o'clock this morning, she ended up in our bed with us. And she wears this thing we call it the starfish. And it's called a zippity zip or zippy zip, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's shaped like a starfish. And you zip it up and it's like tied around their neck like a sleeper. But the rest of it's kind of baggy, like a sleep sack. Mm-hmm. But it closes around their hands and feet like little flippers.
Nice.
And whenever
I picture this. I've seen this before.
Yeah. And we've always called her Tilly Bird. But not because of this. But whenever she wakes up and she sees us, she flaps her flippers at us. So she's in bed. And it's about 6:15. And I think she's finally going back to sleep. And I'm laying there starting to doze back off. And I see her flipper just straight up in the air.
Oh,
and then she slowly turns and looks at me and goes, I'm just laying in bed being a rocket. And I was like, fuck this. So I pick her up and I take her to the living room. And we're sitting in the living room. Sun's not even up yet. And then I hear Shelby in the other room go, Malone, shut up. Malone, shut up. And he goes, well, Daddy and Tilly are in the living room. And she goes, then go to the living room. And he walks in all sleepy-eyed. And I said, what's up, baby boy? And he goes, why you didn't wake me up, dingus?
That's hilarious, man.
What? He goes, yeah, get me out of bed too. Freaking idiot. It's like, what? Why you didn't get me up, dingus?
Dingus.
All right. So there you guys go. Chronicles of Fat Big revisited.
He's a funny kid, man. That's hilarious. Like, Owen does the same type of stuff. I don't remember specific stories, but he'll just randomly say something that just like, how do you even
where
know what
did you
means?
hear that?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
I've heard you say dingus.
Yeah, I know. Everything that comes out of his mouth, someone's like, well, you just need to watch what you say.
I think it's more funny that your daughter is just sitting there playing Rocket in bed. At least she can entertain herself.
In the dark. And she's grinning at me. She had her eyes cut over at me. She was like waiting.
Yeah.
Just waiting for me to give up.
That's hilarious. I remember when my kids were younger and they would do the same type of thing. Caroline, my oldest, when she was young, she would do similar things. She would just entertain herself.
Yeah.
She was very good at that. And so we'd be laying in bed or whatever, and we'd look over at her and she's perfectly fine, just playing, pretend with her toys or whatever. She's always been so good at entertaining herself, and I'm sure you'll start to see similar features take off as Tilly gets older. Those features that they have now carry on. I mean, they don't go away.
No.
It's pretty interesting to see that personalities develop so early.
So early.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that story. Well, I guess with that, man, I'm gonna next weekend. I want to talk about Black Friday deals. I've got a list of good deals. I'm probably not going to mention them off on the podcast, but I am going to give strategies that I use for getting a hold of the best deals on Black Friday or Thursday, if you want to call it. Everything's happening on Thursday, but yeah. Next week's show, Black Friday deals. I'll give you my tips and tricks, and I hope to see you then. But to sign us off, there are a few places that you can go to communicate with us. What are those?
You can get us on Twitter.
Yes.
At JABGcast.
That's right. Where else?
You can get us on Instagram. At JABGcast.
Awesome. Where else?
You can get us on YouTube. At Just a Big Gaming Podcast.
Just a Big Gaming. And lastly, also on Facebook. At JABGcast as well.
Yes. We're also on SoundCloud. iTunes, Podcast Republic,
anywhere you can download your podcast, except for Spotify because they're stingy.
They are stingy.
They are. I've been trying to get on there for a while, and they won't open it up further. If you try out looking for podcasts on Spotify, I don't really see any gaming podcasts. Period on Spotify. They're really very stingy about what they have.
They're trying to make a shift to having purely original podcast material, is what I read.
Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever they're doing, it's like different.
Spotify sponsored podcast.
Even to apply to have your podcast on there is a really weird process. It's like a weird document that you have to fill out, online document. It's very unofficial. And yeah, so I did that, hoping that they would let me on.
It's just like a couple checked boxes, and it's like, do you like my show? Yes, no, or maybe. And they write you back as a friend.
They didn't even write me back.
Man, oh, man.
They're mean.
They don't even know who you are, girlfriend.
Spotify. Put me on there. Put us on there. We want to be on there. Anyway. Enough with that nonsense. Guys, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Adios.